Ladies and gentlemen, after getting knocked offline for about a week, I'm a little rusty. So you're going to have to bear with me as I try and razzle-dazzle you to win contributions and donations by 8:30 a.m. on the 4th for rent. Okay, here we go. We got a giant storm off the East Coast that is going to be bombogenesising out. They say it is going to mostly skirt the coast, bringing only light rain. That was the word on the street yesterday. In my opinion, I don't know what this thing's going to do. You better keep your eye on it because it wasn't supposed to be this deep in, and we've gotten snow and sleet today in South and North Carolina, I believe. Like, for example, let's look at what the models were saying it's going to do. And things have been a bit wild. And this morning, I was standing outside looking at the sun, and she was spinning around real fast, doing a bunch of very interesting things. It's like she's leveled up and learned some new tricks. I got a video that should be posting here in a minute. As I videotaped the sun, the camera didn't pick it up that well, but you'll see that it's not acting normal. So when the sun acts weird, earth weather acts weird, and then people act weird. And so this is the next 48 hours. And so as this big storm moves out, our next big storm moves in. And it's my job to give you guys bad news. And the best way I know how, as honest as I can. And it looks like over the next 16 days, we've got potential for about 5 or 6 storms over those days. And that is a lot. That is stormy weather, man. This is the FV3, the 06Z, but you'll watch what I'm trying to pontificate, speculate. I mean, it's going to get floody, from the West Coast to the Midwest, Southeast, East. As you can see, this is the 14th. This should run till about the 18th. But it's just storm after storm after storm. Okay, here we start. And as you can see, the major part of the bombing out, it might hit New England on north and east, up into Maine. St. John's, maybe? I don't know that geography that well. But then, and I'd pointed out before I went offline for like a week, that we're now in the pattern where you have a storm entering, kind of a storm in the middle, and then a storm exiting. So it looks like a pretty bad pattern as far as weather goes. I still haven't gotten all my bookmarks and stuff up yet, so I haven't refound the good site that lets us know how many rivers are flooding right now, but I know that Nebraska got hit really hard. Iowa, South Dakota, parts of Michigan, I think. So there's not a whole lot more places to put the water. I guess you could put some in Texas. But that's about it. Everywhere else is wet on the East Coast. So if you want to, we'll count these down together. This is the GFS. And when it gets to about 18, and some of these storms are pretty dang sizable. So it's a great time for all Americans and all people really to be working together to adapt to these earth weather changes. Like new infrastructure with extremely resilient materials. All right, so there's one storm, and here's our second storm. So that's storm 2. Here's storm 3. And that's actually they combine. But then I'm counting that as 4. Here's 5. And there's 6. So however you want to count it, whether it's 5 or 6, it's like a storm every 3 days that will be moving across the United States of America. Now let's take a look at the latest runs to see what this crazy bombogenesis is going to do. Because it's a lot of rain, but it's keeping the majority of the heavy stuff up the coast until it gets up to this area. And they are going to get hit pretty dang hard. It's about a cat 1 hurricane strength. But one thing that I was watching is how the West Coast, some part along the West Coast is going to be getting, look at that right there. That's bad. They're going to be getting hit with a lot of rain, a lot of moisture here. It may be hot, so they could get a wet rain up in the mountains when they got like 40 feet of mountains, which would cause some pretty massive snow melt, which would probably lead to flooding. And here, I mean, that's rain. That's a whole lot of rain up in the mountains. If that did that, and then you wouldn't necessarily know where you would get your flooding from the snow melt, because it's a lot of snow. And in Houston, we're going to be getting wet. And just the formations of some of these storms are just crazy. Like, this is like 2 storms in one. Hey, everybody, you get 2 storms in one. Just what you always wanted. Not. And so the GFS keeps the big storm off the coast, but as you can see, it's going to be bringing storm after storm after storm. Now, let's see what the FB3 GFS does. See, that's sizable rain. If 986, it's pretty low. This brings a lot more of the rain up past New England and these areas. But we're going to have to keep watching because that's still almost 48 hours away. Somewhere between 36 and 40. And the weather has just been downright wild. And yeah, so the West Coast is getting blasted on the 6th. And it looks like it could have heavy rain potential. And then whatever the storm is after the 6th moves out, that's a nasty V wedge, man. And whoa, yeah. And we've had that volcano in Mexico going off for almost 3 months now. So these are crazy times indeed. You know what I'm saying? And so we're watching this low pressure zone for now, and then we'll watch as the storm enters into the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, Canada. How are you doing today? It's a beautiful day here in Texas. And so you're going to get some pretty heavy waves and surf. If you want to, check out Cranky Weather Guy's blog. He always does a fantastic job of breaking everything down for you. Short term, medium term, long term. I'll leave his link in the information box, along with my PayPal link and my address. I've only got to raise like $300, $320 in like 44 hours. No problem. I've had bigger sums than that and kick that butt. Hope, who knows? Wow, yeah, dude, that is so crazy. And that little yellow spot is, I think, about 119 miles an hour. But that would be in the core. It's not like that would get on land. But whatever's going on with this wind gust situation, it's a deal, man. And so I think this should be our American priorities right now. What is that even doing? It's like a giant arrow pointing at Spain and Portugal. Yeah, look at that. Holy crap. Yeah, smoke them if you got them.